Hello students. So in today's video, we'll be going through a new topic that is a simple past tense. So it's a very interesting topic that we have today, and we have already looked at simple present tense and present continuous tense in our past videos. Now you might think that why are we going in this irregular order or say an odd order that we have? The reason being in the book it's covered in the same way, and another reason being we are going through the simple tenses that we have, like the easiest tenses that we have in at first. Okay. Because these are easiest, you should know them first. And again, we use them frequently as well. In my future videos, I'll be covering all the tenses one by one. So do hit on the bell icon for the same. Okay. Now let's get started. So here we have simple past tense. First, of course, we will be going through uses. When do we use them? So we use them to talk about an action that took place at some point of time in the past. Okay. So we have one point of time, and that's what we are talking about over here. Okay. He took over as the principal last year. So what is the point of time that we are talking over here? It is last year. Okay. The child smiled to see her father. Okay, that is what we talk about in the simple past tense. Okay, after that, we have more uses, of course. It is used to express an action that took place over a period of time in the past. So I worked in the Presidency College, Kolkata from 2003 to 2006. So I'm talking about an action which took place over a period of time, but again in the past. Okay. Then we also use this just like simple present tense to talk about habitual actions and states, but it was in the past. Okay. But it uses the same adverbs that we went through in the simple present tense video. Okay. If you have not gone through that video, I would suggest you to go through it. So I can say we often went to Shimla to spend our summer vacation. That is how I will use this to talk about past action. Okay. A repeated action in the past. Now, next, we also use it to talk about conditional sentences, which express an improbable condition. Okay. If I knew him, I would approach him. If I had money, I would join Amity University for my MBA. That is how I can use it. So improbable conditions, we are talking about mostly if sentences, which we will be going through in future. Okay. Next, this is very, very important. Remember, we had discussed this in our simple present tense video as well. So we will be looking at regular verbs and irregular verbs, how they change and how do we use them. So we have regular verbs, those are also called ED verbs, and then we have irregular verbs. So we have V1, that is a root form of verb. Say if I'm using walk, how will I use it in past tense? I will say, I walked to the school yesterday, right? That is how I will use it. So I just add ed to my regular verbs. Walk becomes walked, and in the third form also, it is walked only. Okay. But if I'm using irregular verbs, why are they called irregular? Because they have irregular pattern of changing. They do not have a similar way of changing. That is the reason they are called irregular verbs. Okay. So if I'm saying go, in past tense, I will use went, and in V3 form, I will say gone. Now, this V3 form is mostly used in our perfect tenses, which we will be looking at in our future videos. For now, you only need to remember V2 form, that is the simple past form, because that is what we use in our simple past tense. Okay. So I will say, I went to the school and I saw a shark yesterday. Okay. That is how I will use. I will also be attaching one PDF in the chat box along with a regular assessment that we do, not in the chat box. I'm really sorry. In the description, a PDF with the common irregular verbs that we use, and it will be easier for you to remember all of them. Okay. So do go through it, take a printout. It will be easier for you to refer to them again and again, and also give the test just like usual. Okay. Next, we have the sentence structures. So remember, I just told you we will be using V2 form, right, in this sentence structures. So I can say subject and V2 and object. I can say, I went to school every day. He went to school every day. In negative, I will use did because do is V1, did is V2, and done is V3. Okay, these are our helping verbs that we use in simple tenses. If you remember from the first video, these are the helping verbs that we use. So here, because we are using did in past tense, we will not make our main verb into past tense. Remember that. Most of the people make this mistake. Okay. So if we are using did in a sentence, I will not use V2 form of verb. I will just use V1 form of verb. Okay. I will say, I didn't go to school every day. He did not go to school every day. I cannot say he did not went to school, or I cannot say I did not knew. Okay, it's wrong English. So that is something that you should remember. Next, we have yes and no questions. Again, in yes and no questions, we will be starting with did, then we have subject, and then the root form of the verb. Again, we are using did, so we will just use root form, that is V1. Did you go to school every day? Did he go to school every day? And then WH questions, it starts with WH question word, then did, subject, and then V1 and object if needed. When did you go to school? Or when did she go to school? That is how I'll be making sentences. Now let us look at more examples from our book. Did you work on Saturday? Yes, I did. I worked all day. No, I did not. I did not work at all. What did Rick do on Saturday? He stayed home and studied for a test. So you remember the spelling rule that we went through in the second or third video from the second unit? We will remove Y and then we will add I. Okay. Did you go anywhere last weekend? Yes, I did. I went to the movie. No, I did not. I did not go anywhere. I did not go. I will not say I did not went. Okay, remember that. How did Meg spend her weekend? She went to a karaoke bar and sang with some friends. Okay, that is how we will use our simple past tense. Now practice making these sentences in the comments, and also don't forget to give the test and hit on the bell icon so that you get the update of my next video. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.